Hello, and welcome to the third and final microlearning seminar in this three-part seminars that we are creating. This one is on understanding identity shifts during the postpartum period, a deep dive into maternal transformation. Again, my name is Leah DeZormo. I'm an MSW intern with Amber Sperling Social Work and Psychotherapy Services. So there's been 3 micro-learning seminars, and then again, we are doing a live session for everybody on, just want to make sure I have the date, on March 4th at 12 noon, and there'll be more information shared on that in the future. So the concept of identity. So the definition of identity, an individual's understanding of themselves, shaped by personal beliefs, roles, relationships, and experiences. Core aspects of identity, your personal identity, so sense of self outside a role, so how you identify. Social identity, so roles defined by society, so that's motherhood, motherhood, business person, all that kind of stuff. Those are social identities. And then role identity. These are the roles that one assumes in various contexts. So I'm a wife, a mother, a sister. Those are those different roles that we play within our lives. So emotional and psychological changes in postpartum. So as we've talked about in the other 2 micro-learning sessions, that hormonal fluctuations, so influence of hormones like oxytocin and estrogen on mood, mental state, and sense of self. Mental health considerations, postpartum depression, anxiety, and adjustment disorder can all impact identity. And shifting focus from a pre-pregnancy sense of self to one centered around caring for a newborn. That's a huge shift, right, in our focus when we have a baby. So the transition into motherhood, it's a new role. The shift from woman to mother can be transformative. It may lead to a reevaluation of one's values, goals, and relationships. Loss of old identity. Many women mourn the loss of pre-pregnancy life and social roles. Role conflict. So balancing multiple roles of mother, partner, professional can lead to conflict and identity challenges. Who am I now? Right? You'll often hear new mothers say, like, I don't know who I am. I was this person, and now I'm not really sure where I fit. Factors contributing to identity shifts. So physical changes, body changes postpartum may influence how women feel about their appearance and overall identity. Social expectations, society's perception of motherhood and expectations placed on new mothers can shape how they view their own role. That's a big one right now, with just social media and everything out there nowadays. That social expectation of what a mother is and what that identity looks like, right? Support systems, a woman's support network can affect her ability to navigate these shifts and help redefine her identity. So positive identity transformation, growth through motherhood. Many women report a greater sense of purpose, emotional depth, and resilience post-birth. Reconnection with core values, a shift towards prioritizing family, health, and personal well-being. New social connections, joining parent communities and making new friends can lead to a positive shift in self-perception. Navigating the identity shifts. So self-compassion, recognizing the difficulties and embracing the changes without judgment. Support networks, reaching out to family and friends and sometimes professional counselors. Finding balance, allowing oneself to evolve through trial and error while adjusting to new roles. Mindfulness and self-awareness, taking time to reflect on the changing identity and how to integrate new roles while staying true to oneself. So challenges of the postpartum identity shift, loss of autonomy, feeling disconnected from pre-baby freedoms. Our whole world changes when you have a baby, right? The things that we used to do, not that we can't do them anymore, but there's additional thought that needs to go in and planning, like We just can't run out to the store. We can, but we have to bring a baby. So what does that entail, right? That loss of like, I can just go anywhere, do anything I want, that there's a kind of that loss there. Pressure to bounce back, societal emphasis on returning to one's previous form or expectations of perfection. So we have to get back to who we were after we've had a baby. We have to be that person that we were before, and that's not always true or possible. Isolation, the sense of being alone in one's struggles due to the demands of motherhood. So we're not getting out as much, right, as we probably were before, which can create isolation, right? As I've talked about in the other ones, winter months are often a lot harder to get out. So that can also create a sense of isolation. Identity crisis, some women may experience feelings of confusion about who they are now, leading to existential questioning. So helping to foster a healthy transition. So what do we do, right, when we're struggling with our identity? Building a supportive environment, creating a space where women can share experiences and concerns, normalizing the postpartum struggle, reducing stigma around mental health and identity confusion during the period, encouraging self-care, emphasizing the importance of self-care practices for mental and emotional well-being. Therapeutic interventions, the role of counseling, therapy, and support groups in navigating this change. The role that others can play in your life, partners, family, support in identity transition. How our partners and family can help ease the shift by being emotionally available and practical. Shared responsibility, encouraging shared parenting duties to help the new mother maintain a sense of self. Acknowledging change, acknowledging that both partners are adjusting to the new roles and responsibilities. So I put in a case example here because I think it's really important and easier to understand when we can have some reference. So background. So this is a fake person. Emily, a 32-year-old woman, had just given birth to her first child, a healthy baby boy, after a pretty difficult 36-hour labor. She'd always been an independent, career-focused individual who took pride in her professional achievements. Prior to becoming a mother, she enjoyed a fulfilling social life, traveling and having time for herself. However, after the birth of her son, Emily began to experience a significant shift in her identity. The transition to motherhood felt overwhelming. While she loved her baby deeply, she couldn't shake the feeling of losing herself. Emily felt torn between her old self, the independent, career-driven woman, and her new role as mother. I think we can all relate to this, whether you were a working professional prior to having your child, even if you weren't, you had a different identity prior to having your baby, right? So all that gets shifted and changed the moment you have a child. So her identity struggles postpartum, loss of pre-baby identity. Emily found herself mourning the loss of her freedom. She used to have time for her hobbies, socializing, her career. Now her days were just consumed with caring for her newborn, leaving little room for anything else. She often caught herself feeling like she was just a mom and not the multifaceted woman she used to be. Emotional disconnect, she struggled with guilt, believing that she wasn't living up to societal expectations of motherhood. Emily often found herself comparing her experience to others who seemed to effortlessly juggle motherhood and personal ambitions. This created feelings of inadequacy and self-doubt. Physical changes. Emily also experienced a shift in how she viewed her body. Physical change after childbirth was significant. Her body didn't look the way it did pre-pregnancy, and this affected how she felt about herself. Coping with the shift. So despite feeling lost and overwhelmed, Emily recognized that her identity was changing and she needed to find ways to adapt. Here's what she did. Seeking support and validation, she reached out to close friend Sarah, who had gone through a similar experience. Sarah helped Emily realize that many women experience the identity shift postpartum and that it's normal to feel conflicted during this transition. She joined an online mothers group where she could talk openly with others about challenges of motherhood and identity. Listening to other women experiences helped her feel less isolated and more understood. Therapy and self-reflection. Emily decided to speak with a therapist specializing in postpartum issues. Therapy helped her understand the identity shifts were a natural part of being a mother, but that they didn't mean she had to completely lose herself in the process. Through therapy, she learned how to embrace the changes while recognizing her individual needs and desires. This helped Emily manage her feelings of guilt and sadness about her loss of independence. So once she was able to recognize it, she had to redefine her identity. Emily began to redefine her identity, not as a single label of mother, but as a combination of roles. She acknowledged that she could still be a loving mother and continue to pursue aspects of her old self, though that might look different now. Like I said, you can still do all those things that you did. It just looks different, and how you achieve it sometimes is a little bit different. She took small steps to reconnect with her passions, such as reading books on parenting and self-care, ways to balance work and motherhood, and finding time for her interests like painting, even if it was just 10 minutes a day. Self-compassion and adjusting expectations. Emily learned to be kinder to herself. She stopped comparing her postpartum journey to others and accepted that it was okay to not bounce back quickly or have anything figured out right away. She realized that the pressure to be perfect was unrealistic and detrimental to her well-being. Practicing self-compassion helped her embrace her new body and the imperfections that came with it. Emily celebrated her body's strength and resilience in bringing a child into the world. Building a support network. This is really important. Emily's partner, Mark, played a vital role in her emotional recovery. Mark took on more responsibilities at home, allowing Emily time for herself. He was attentive and encouraging, which helped Emily feel seen and validated and valued beyond her role as a mother. Emily also reconnected with her pre-baby friends who made sure to check in on her and not just focus on the baby. This helped her feel like she was still a part of her old social world. Physical activities and self-care. Emily started engaging in postpartum yoga and light walks with her baby. These activities allowed her to realign a sense of physical autonomy and well-being, which improved her mental health. So these are great examples of how she just redefined her identity, right? So a new integrated identity. Over time, Emily's understanding of her identity evolved. She didn't view herself as just a mom or just a career woman. Instead, she began to embrace her new identity as a multifaceted individual, one who was learning how to navigate motherhood while also honoring her passions and expectations. Through therapy, support, and self-compassion, Emily found a new balance. She was able to integrate her roles, mother, partner, friend, professional, into a cohesive identity that felt authentic and sustainable. Her self-esteem improved, and she started to view her postpartum journey as an opportunity for growth, both personally and within her family dynamic. So I don't know if that sounds familiar to everybody, but there's definitely pieces of that I resonated with. I remember after I had my first son, I struggled with, I used to go to work every day, and now I just stay home and take care of a baby. And so just that piece of it was really hard to, who am I now, right? And understanding that different role. And it took time to understand, like, this is a new role. Doesn't mean the old role is gone or lost. It's just adding to it, right? And it just looks different. So Summary. So just in conclusion, the postpartum period brings significant emotional, psychological, and physical changes that changes one identity. Some key takeaways: understanding and accepting that identity shifts is essential. We just can't expect to be that old person that we were once we've had a child, right? Positive shifts are possible with the right support, some self-compassion and balance. Encouragement: every mother's experience is unique. There's not one way to navigate the postpartum journey. I've also posted the VIA Character Strengths survey. So there's the website. If you have a chance to do it, I think you do have to, like, it's free, but you just create like a username. But go on there. It's a good one to kind of look at just your strengths and different areas of your identity and things that matter to you, your values, that kind of stuff. It can really be helpful in perhaps doing it before you had baby, doing it after, and doing it maybe 6 months postpartum to see kind of where that, where you've kind of shifted or changed, right? And again, it's very normal to have all of these things shift and change because your priorities and your identity has changed. And again, as always, I put up the same resources and supports: the Canada Crisis Number, Mental Health Crisis Line, Simcoe County Crisis Line, 24-hour Crisis Line, Trans Lifeline, Perinatal Wellbeing Ontario, and Orillia Soldiers Memorial Hospital Perinatal Mental Health. So again, reach out to any of those if you're needing some extra support. And we will be live on March 4th at noon on the Mighty Network, where these are posted, for a live session just to kind of debrief and talk and answer any questions you might have. Thanks so much for watching and have a great day.